Okay, bro, story time, because this one's gonna ruin your whole week in the best way possible. Picture this. 10 years from now, you open your banking app on a random Tuesday, it's raining, you're not even trying to check anything serious, and something has just shifted. Not because you got a bigger bag at work, not because you won the lottery, hell no. It's because while everybody else was doom scrolling about layoffs and eggs costing $9, you were quietly out here owning stuff, like a silent final boss. Now picture the other timeline. 10 years from now, same app, same balance basically, rent ate 60% of your paycheck, your 401k has moved less than a sloth on a Sunday. I'm not exaggerating for the algorithm here, that's literally the reality for a scary amount of people right now. Cooked. Actually fucking cooked. And nobody wants to say this part out loud, so I'm gonna yap about it. The next 10 years are gonna spawn more first-time millionaires and more broke 60-year-olds than literally any decade in modern history. Same time period, two completely different outcomes. And the split? It's not about who grinded harder at their 9 to 5, it's about who owns something. That's it. That's the whole damn plot twist. Today I'm walking you through the stuff that can actually flip your entire financial script over the next decade. Zero hype, zero theory, just real stuff you can start owning this month, even if your bank account is looking a little humble right now. And stay to the end because I'm dropping the one thing almost nobody puts on these lists, the thing that has built more generational wealth than every stock in every house combined. Skip it and bro, you skip the entire damn point of this video. Let me be real with you. If you're in your late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and it feels like the old money rules just stopped working, you are not tweaking, you are correct. The board got reset. And the people who adjust their strategy right now in these next few years are about to get so far ahead it's gonna feel unfair, like they found a glitch in the game. So let's close that gap. Right now, no cap. Here's what nobody explains properly. There's two types of people in this economy. People who own things and people who rent their entire existence. That's it. That's the whole split. Owning something means it puts cash in your pocket, grows in value, or does both at the same time. An absolute win-win. A liability does the exact opposite. It drains your pocket every single month until there's nothing left. It's basically a financial vampire. And the funniest, most tragic joke ever is that most people spend 30 years collecting liabilities and calling it a win. That leased SUV in the driveway? Liability, bro. That bigger condo with a bigger mortgage? Mostly liability. That vacation club membership your uncle got talked into at a timeshare seminar? A liability cosplaying as an asset. Damn. Financial author Elena Whitfield said something in her book The Owner's Ledger that basically rewired an entire generation's brain. People with real wealth stop trading their hours for dollars and start collecting things that trade hours for them. Let that marinate. But here's what that book doesn't spell out. Not everything worth owning ages the same. What built wealth from 1975 to 2005 is not automatically what builds wealth from now through the mid-2030s. Rates changed, tech changed, the entire shape of work changed. And the biggest mistake people in their 40s and 50s are making right now is running a 1995 strategy in a 2026 economy. That's like showing up to a boss fight with a damn starter weapon. Here's a sentence that's about to sting a little. Your salary is the weakest thing you own. I said what I said. It feels safe, it feels stable, but it's the only thing on this entire list that disappears the second you stop clocking in. Everything else keeps producing whether you show up or not. So stop trying to earn your way there. Start trying to own your way there. Let's get into the list. Lock in, because a few of these are things no financial channel will say straight to your face. Total market index funds. Legendary investor Marcus Callaway has said it publicly more than once. Regular savers do better in a low-cost, broad index fund than trying to outguess the professionals. Why does this actually matter for the next 10 years specifically? Automation, AI infrastructure, and a wave of companies bringing manufacturing back home are about to funnel an absurd amount of profit into a small handful of dominant companies. A total market fund doesn't make you guess who wins. It just hands you a slice of literally everyone. Historically, the broad market has compounded around 9% a year over long stretches. At 9%, your money roughly doubles every 8 years. Drop $40,000 in at 45 and never touch it again, and by the math alone, you're sitting on roughly $80,000 at 53, $160,000 at 61, and $320,000 at 69. That's not magic, that's just damn time doing its job. Dividend-paying stocks. These pay you actual cash every quarter just for holding them. Bro, just for holding them. Some companies have raised their dividend for 40+ straight years across beverages, healthcare, consumer staples. In your 30s, those dividends quietly reinvest and stack in the background. In your 60s, they basically become a second paycheck. 25 solid dividend payers averaging a 3.8% yield throws off roughly $38,000 a year on $1 million position, and the principal keeps growing right alongside it. That's a damn cheat code. Rental property. Not your own house, an actual income property that works for you. The US is short somewhere between 3 to 6 million housing units depending who you ask, and that gap isn't closing anytime soon. Buy a $280,000 rental appreciating a modest 3.5% a year while clearing $175 a month after expenses, and in 5 years, that thing could be worth roughly $332,000, having handed you about $10,500 in cash flow on top of paying down real equity. Appreciation, cash flow, and equity all stacked at once. Absolutely fucking clutch. REITs. Real estate investment trusts. And this is the one that gets slept on constantly. You own real estate without ever fixing a toilet at 2 a.m., starting with as little as $50. By law, REITs have to hand out at least 90% of taxable income to shareholders. That's not a marketing gimmick, that's federal statute. Buy one REIT and you own a slice of apartment complexes, warehouses, medical buildings, and increasingly data centers. Every single AI workload runs on physical servers sitting in physical buildings, and a lot of that real estate lives inside REIT portfolios. You don't gotta pick the winning tech company, you can just own the damn concrete underneath all of them. Treasury notes and tips. Getting paid by the actual federal government while being shielded from inflation is one of the most underused moves after 50. For most of the 2000s and 10s, treasuries paid basically nothing. That era is dead and buried. Right now, you can lock in yields on short and medium-term treasuries that genuinely beat inflation. Tips take it further. The principal adjusts up with inflation automatically, no guessing required. High-yield savings and short-term CDs. Not glamorous, I know, but for the first time in almost 20 years, your idle cash can actually earn something real. $20,000 sitting in a regular checking account paying 0.02% earns you a whopping $4 a year. That's tragic as hell. The same amount in a high-yield account paying 4.3% earns roughly $860. That's basically a free $856 for switching accounts one time. Do that math over a decade and it's actual money. Gold and silver, not a lottery ticket. Insurance. Gold has held its value for thousands of years while dozens of currencies collapsed around it into nothing. Central banks in several major economies have been stacking gold hard the last few years, and everyday buyers tend to follow that trend a little late. Keeping somewhere between 5% and 10% of your portfolio in physical metal or a metals ETF is a hedge, not a gamble. If everything else is popping off, gold just sits there quietly. If things go sideways, it cushions the fall like a financial airbag. A fully paid off primary residence. No landlord who can jack up the rent, no lender who can foreclose. National rents have climbed hard over the past decade, and most forecasts say that keeps going given the housing shortage we already talked about. Imagine being 72 on a fixed income, watching rent climb $500 every single year. A paid-off home just erases that entire variable. Your housing cost becomes taxes, insurance, and upkeep, sometimes under $7,000 a year in lower tax states versus $26,000 plus if you're still renting. That's not small, bro. That's life-changing. A small side business. Even a modest side hustle clearing $600 to $1,200 a month is mathematically the same as holding an extra $180,000 earning a 4% yield. AI tools have basically deleted the cost of starting something small. Bookkeeping, tutoring, freelance design, a niche online shop. Research on self-made American millionaires keeps finding business ownership, not a fat salary, sitting at the center of most of their stories. The quiet one, municipal bonds. If you're in a 24% federal bracket, A muni paying 3.6% tax-free is basically equivalent to a taxable bond paying north of 5%. These bonds fund schools, water systems, roads, unglamorous, essential, reliable across generations. With heavy public infrastructure spending expected for the rest of the decade, the supply and the opportunity is only growing. A simple fixed annuity. Not the commission-loaded product some guy pitches you at a free steak dinner. A plain, immediate fixed annuity that acts like a private pension. Financial commentator Renata Cole has spent years warning people off the complicated versions while still admitting the plain, simple ones solve a real problem: running out of money too early. Imagine being 66 with $380,000 saved, terrified you'll be broke at 88. Converting $90,000 of that into a monthly check that shows up no matter what the market's doing turns pure fear into an actual floor under your feet. A Roth IRA or Roth 401k. Pay the tax now, never pay tax on that money ever again. Catch-up contributions after 50 let you put in even more, and almost nobody uses them. With federal debt sitting at historic levels, most tax people across the board expect rates to go up, not down, over the coming decades, which makes locking in today's rate inside a Roth one of the sneakiest power moves on this entire list. A health savings account. Triple tax advantaged. Money goes in tax-free, grows tax-free, comes out tax-free for medical stuff. Most people blow through it as fast as it lands. The smart move is paying medical bills out of pocket when you can and letting the HSA balance grow untouched for 20+ years. Average lifetime healthcare costs for a retired couple can blow past $310,000. An HSA funded aggressively in your 40s becomes a dedicated, tax-free war chest for exactly that fight. Blue chip growth stocks. The biggest tech names today always look too expensive. People have said that about every dominant company for 30 straight years and been wrong every single time. Companies with insane cash flow, real moats, and global reach tend to keep compounding in ways that shock even the professionals. You don't need to bet the farm. Small, patient positions held for a decade tend to outperform people frantically trading like it's a video game. The underrated one. A genuinely funded emergency cash position. During the 2008 crash, the people holding cash bought homes at steep discounts while everyone else was panicking. Investor Marcus Calloway describes cash not as something sitting there doing nothing, but as a weapon held in reserve for the moment prices collapse and everyone else is forced to sell. The next decade will almost certainly include at least one window like that. Be ready. Don't get caught lacking. Farmland and timberland. Several of the richest people on the planet quietly hold massive farmland portfolios, and bro, that is not a coincidence. Population keeps growing. Arable land does not. Historically, quality American farmland has delivered steady returns with way less volatility than public equities. And specialized platforms now let you buy in with as little as $8,000 instead of needing an entire farm. That's pretty damn wild when you think about it. Your own skills and earning capacity. Motivational author Dominic Reyes has argued for years that the single highest return investment you will ever make is in your own ability to earn. A $150 certification that bumps your income by $4,000 a year, sustained over 15 working years, is $60,000 of extra lifetime income. No stock, no property, nothing on this list will ever beat that return. Bro, that's basically a fucking infinite glitch. Cash value life insurance, used narrowly. Controversial, and honestly for good reason for most people, commentator Hank Delacroix openly dislikes these products, and for the average household, simple term coverage is the correct answer, full stop. But for someone in their late 40s or 50s who has already maxed out their Roth and 401k space, a properly structured whole life policy can work as a slow, tax-advantaged side account that a lawsuit or creditor generally can't touch. It's a specialty tool, not a foundation. Don't build your whole damn house on it. That was the last item on the main list, but I promised you one more. Hold on, we're getting there. First, notice what every single one of these has in common. It works quietly. It compounds while you're literally asleep. None of it requires you to correctly predict the next headline, the next rate decision, or the next viral stock tip some guy is yapping about online. It just requires time, consistency, and the nerve to actually own it instead of just reading about it and closing the tab. That's the real story of the next decade. It's not about finding the one perfect thing to buy. It's about holding a mix of these, sized to your age and your risk tolerance, and then leaving it alone. Someone in their 30s might lean harder into index funds, a rental, and skill building. Someone in their 60s might lean harder into dividends, bonds, a paid-off home, and cash. There's no universal formula, just the one that actually fits your life. Now, the problem. If all of this is so clear, why does almost nobody actually get here? Because the entire system around you is built to keep you spending, not owning. Every ad you see is engineered to make you buy something. Nobody's mailing you a flyer suggesting you buy shares in an index fund this month. That's just not how the damn game is designed. And here's an uncomfortable correction to something you've probably believed your whole life. Spend less, save more is dangerously incomplete advice, bro. With real-world inflation running 3 to 5%, a savings account paying 1% is quietly losing you 2 to 4% of purchasing power every single year. That's not being careful, that's slow erosion. You're losing while thinking you're winning. Shit adds up. Call it the paycheck treadmill. You work harder, get a small raise, inflation eats it whole, repeat for 20 years, and you're still on the same treadmill, just running faster and getting nowhere. Pensions basically vanished. Public retirement systems are strained. Healthcare and housing costs have outrun wages for decades. And yet plenty of people over 40 are still budgeting like it's 1998. Time to update the damn software. Saving and investing have to happen at the same time, not one after the other. Author Dominic Reyes says it bluntly: if you're not building something aggressively in your 40s and 50s, you're quietly building poverty. Harsh? Yeah. Wrong? Not really. A simple plan you can start this week. Write down everything you actually own and everything you owe. Most people have literally never done this on paper, and the clarity alone changes your behavior overnight. Build a real emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses sitting in a high-yield account paying at least 4%. Without this, one bad month forces you to sell things at the absolute worst possible time. That shit hurts. Max out your tax-advantaged accounts first. If you're over 50, use the catch-up limits on your 401k, IRA, and HSA. They exist because policymakers already know most people are behind. Automate your index fund purchases every month and stop staring at the ticker like it's a sports score. Dollar cost averaging has quietly built more ordinary millionaires than any other single strategy in history. Trust the damn process. Add one income-producing thing this year outside the stock market. A rental, a REIT position, a dividend basket, a small side hustle. Just one. Momentum beats variety every single damn time. Kill high-interest debt first, especially credit cards. Carrying a balance at 23% while chasing 8% market returns is a losing equation dressed up as a plan. And paying it off is the highest guaranteed return you will ever find. No bullshit. Protect what you build. Adequate term life insurance if anyone depends on you. An umbrella policy, a basic will. Long-running research on everyday American millionaires keeps finding the same thing over and over. Boring, defensive protection is a hallmark of people who actually kept their money. And now, the last one. The thing nobody puts on lists like this. Your time and attention. I know, it sounds soft, but everything above requires the exact same starting material. Hours spent learning, deciding, and resisting the easy wrong choice. The people who end up wealthy usually aren't even the smartest people in the room. They're just the ones who treat their own attention like the scarcest resource they've got. Because it is. Author Cyrus Bell wrote decades ago in Believe and Achieve that what you consistently focus on is what you eventually build. Spend 4 hours a night on a feed and 0 minutes managing your money, and bro, you're gonna get exactly the outcome that ratio produces. Flip it, even slightly, and everything above starts working for you instead of against you. That's the whole fucking game. That's the last one, and it's the one that makes everything else actually mean something. This video is for illustrative/creative purposes and is not financial advice.